Man beat man is back.
Oh, okay, Jay, boys, got it again. Oh my gosh, the ring got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered. You talk to us, you talk to him, but look at that, my God.
This is your boy.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dasher True Inferno. First and foremost, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, since I will not be having a video up for you guys on Thanksgiving on this channel anyway. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving everybody. I hope everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody is safe during Black Friday. Try not to go overboard, please. Thank you. Because I won't be out there, by the way. I'll be somewhere else on Friday. If you want to know where, check out my Pokemon Go channel. So, with that out the way, speaking of games, let's talk about another game. But before we get to the game, remember what I talked about last week? I really talked about branding, but I use examples. So, the example I used was Nintendo and SanDisk partnership, and how they were trying to rip people off for selling their micro scan SD cards, aka these small memory cards, for a crap ton of money. So like at one point they were selling them for 100, 200 for a 64 gigabyte and 128 gigabyte. Wow, you could have got them for what? I think 30 and 45 from Samsung, and even another SanDisk brand, another SanDisk model that is not as good as the Samsung and the Nintendo version, but it's like a step or two behind, and it will work just fine on your Nintendo Switch. So that's what we talked about last week, and how people will buy them because they don't know anything about them. They just see, hey, it's a memory card. It got the Nintendo Switch name on it. I'm going to buy it. I don't care how much it is. You know, that's one way. That's one form of branding. Now, another form of branding is when you become a big time supporter to the point where you basically dick riding for the brand. So this is where NBA 2K18 comes to play. So that's what we're talking about today. NBA 2K18. Now, when the game first dropped, there was a lot of things wrong with the game. And after they released a few patches, there was still a number of things wrong with the game. And to make matters worse, when the patches came out, some of these things that were completely fine started messing up, started acting up. And there was a number of things that are in the game that we didn't ask for and we for damn sure don't want. So, overall, the game is garbage. But that's not the main thing I want to talk about in regards to NBA 2K18. Because remember, there's the WWE 2K. And this year's WWE 2K18. I got that game. I have not played it yet, but I got it. I've been meaning to play it for some time now. But anywho, that's what's going on right now. So I don't want to get into everything that's wrong with NBA 2K18 because one, there's a lot of things wrong with it. And two, if you want to know for yourself, I recommend you check out the Black Hokage's review on NBA 2K18. He is basically, for the most part, spot on in his review. He really is, because while the gameplay in the last few years is at its best in comparison from 2000 and the 2K15 game on up, everything else isn't. You know, it's like the best 2K in the last few years and the worst 2K in the last few years. It's that bad. It's really, really that bad. And there's two things wrong with it. The first thing is this. You remember how I said like there was a lot of things wrong with the game when it first came out, and even after the first few patches, and there was some things that we couldn't do that we could have done in the past 2Ks? That's a problem. That's a problem. So you mean to tell me that 2K Studios, 2K Sports, whoever, y'all charging $60 for a game that was not really 100% completed, for a game that don't have features that was in last year's game that should have been in this year's game? Y'all really gonna do that? Well, not did they going to. They did do that, and it was ridiculous. And this is worse than Assassin's Creed. This is worse than Call of Duty, Because with Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, where there's those two different things as far as what they did. With Call of Duty, they had different studios make Call of Duty once every 3 years. So I believe this year was Sledgehammer. Next year, I believe it's going to be I forgot the Treyarch, and then after that is Infinity Ward again. So they make their Call of Duty games once every 3 years, even though all three of them making Call of Duty games under Activision. But again, it's one company within Activision for 3 years. So that's fine and dandy. And they starting to get it right with They're starting to get it right with the new one, which is World War II. Now, in the case of Assassin's Creed, they took a year off. And it came out with this year's Assassin's Creed, which I do have, but at the same time, I didn't play yet. But I have not heard anything wrong with it. So that year off was a good thing. Now we move on to 2K. And 2K, and let me rephrase that. NBA 2K comes out with a game every year. Every single freaking year. And this year's, I'd say, is the worst one, possibly of them all. Because it's not because of the gameplay, like I said. In the last few years, the gameplay is actually at an all-time high. Based off of the last few years, from 2K15 on up to this point. The problem is that the game was incomplete. It was incomplete. That's the problem. That's not the biggest problem. Hey, my head hurts. The fact that the game was incomplete and that they were still charging at least $60 for this game. Because remember, there's 3 versions. There's the regular version, there's the Legendary Edition, and then there's the Legendary Gold Edition. And you mean to tell me that they were charged, and they were all different prices. I think the Legendary was like $80 and the Legendary Gold was like $150, something like that. I forgot. And that's the one I got, so I should know how much it was, but I forgot. But the game was incomplete. They charging that much for a game that was incomplete. And that's not the worst thing about this year's 2K. So something's up. Something's really up. So with that said, do you know what's up? Do you know what was the worst thing about this year's 2K? Now, for those of you who haven't played NBA 2K games, here's how it goes down. The number one mode, in my opinion, in NBA 2K is My Career. It's My Career because you create your player and you put your player on any NBA professional team. You playing alongside other superstars and other pros, and you playing against other superstars and other pros. And you trying to win MVP awards, trying to make it to the All-Star games, trying to make it to the playoffs, and ultimately win the NBA championship, and ultimately make it to the Hall of Fame and things of that nature. So when you start your game, your character, doesn't matter how high he's drafted. He could be drafted number 1, but his overall will always be in the 50s and the 60s. And as you play the game, as you play My Career mode or whatever mode it is, you will earn a little thing called VC, which is virtual currency. And with that, you can actually use it to upgrade your character. So change his overall from the 50s and 60s to 70s, 80s, and 90s. So you need VC for that. And when you have a good enough character, you can have them join a squad and y'all can take part in Pro-Am. So basically, it's you and 4 other people teaming up against 5 other people. So, 5 on 5. Mostly no computers. So, computer generated players and things of that nature. But here's the problem with this year's 2K. The grind for VC is unfreaking believable. It's outrageous. Like, the most amount of, and I'm exaggerating here, so this is not factual right here. But no, the grind is outrageous. That part is true. But the amount I'm about to name, I'm just using examples. It's been a minute since I played 2K. NBA 2K, that is. Like, you'll complete a game and you only get like 500 VC, right? But if you want a t-shirt, it's double that amount. If you want a haircut, at one point in time, it was 750 VC. If you want shoes, that's 1500 VC. And that's outrageous. That's really outrageous. And like I said, the grind is hard. Like, you can do all the training in the world. You can go to the gym. You can go to the practice facility. You can do all this stuff. You can play games, like an actual NBA game. You can go to the park. You can do Pro-Am and do all this stuff. But the amount of VC you get is so low. It's so low. You want to know how low it is? For those of you who don't play Pokemon Go, let me explain to you how low NBA 2K's grind is. When you play Pokemon Go, you can earn coins on there, or you can spend your hard-earned money to buy coins on there. With the coins, you can buy whatever you want to help your character level up. Sounds like 2K. But here's how you earn coins in Pokemon Go. It's so stupid too. You put your Pokemon in a gym, and if it stays in there for a certain amount of hours, hopefully for a whole day, you would think, oh yeah, it stays in there for a whole day or some amount of hours, you earn coins. Not exactly. You have to keep your Pokemon, I think it's for at least 8 hours, and then you gotta hope that somebody else from another squad, because you one of 3 teams, you the red team Valor, the yellow team Instinct, or the blue team Mystic. You gotta hope for somebody from another squad drive along or comes along, see your Pokemon in that gym, it's been in there for over a day, and kick you out by battering all the Pokemon in that gym and then kick them out, and then they take over the gym. And once that happens, you, as in the one that just got kicked out, will get coins. And you only get 50 coins, where everything in there costs more than 50 coins. That sounds like 2K. That sounds like NBA 2K. Both of them are ridiculous, but 2K is worse. In my opinion, 2K is slightly worse. It's so ridiculous. Like, the grind could be that much real. And this is a case of branding, and where the brand is too greedy. The brand is greedy as heck because they don't want you to earn that VC. Instead, they want you to spend money on VC. And, you can do that, but that's what they want you to do. They don't want you to actually play the game and earn VC. No. They want you to spend money to get the VC. And here's how terrible things are right now. One of these NBA 2K YouTubers, I forgot his name. Y'all know who it is. iPod Carter, whatever his name is. He posted a tweet a number of weeks back, saying that he spot somebody in the NBA 2K game, and they were at the gym grinding, trying to get that VC. And he posted a picture saying, I can't believe this dude trying to work out and grind for the VC. He better spend that money. So basically, he was encouraging you guys to spend more money on a game that is incomplete. And I'm like, I don't know who this iPod, I've heard of the guy, so I ain't gonna say I don't know who he is. I don't watch his videos. I never did. Prior to this, it was never beef. I never had, I never disliked the guy. It's just that, I watched so many YouTubers, it never really crossed my mind to watch this guy. Now I'm definitely ain't watching this guy because this dude is on 2K's dick, like for real. How can you say that? How can you treat that, man? Like, how can you encourage people to spend $60 on an incomplete game and then spend more money on VC? More money in the game after the $60 or $80 or $100 or however much you spent on the game, because remember, there's 3 editions: regular, legendary, and legendary gold. How can you encourage that? But this is an example of branding where you are in love with the brand so much that you trying to get people to spend more money on it, whether that brand deserves it or not. And in this case, NBA 2K does not deserve any more of your money, because that is some BS. I cannot believe that nonsense. So, and I got one more example for you guys next week. And here's the thing, man. It's been weeks since I played 2K. I didn't trade it in. I didn't get rid of it. Nothing. I didn't do nothing like that. But this could be my last NBA 2K. I'm saying that now. We'll see what happens next year. But this could be my last one. I know one thing I'm not doing. I'm not getting a Legendary Gold Edition. If I do decide to get 2K next year, what I'm going to do instead is get the regular and see how it is. If the grind still exists, and that's another thing about branding, because the brand felt like they can do whatever the hell they want, and you, as the consumer, will buy it anyway because of who it is. That's another example of branding. Like, hey, we 2K. We make NBA 2K. This is the most popular basketball game in the world. People would buy our game no matter what we do. no matter how incomplete it is, no matter how crappy it is, people are going to buy our game because it's NBA 2 freaking K. That's another example of branding, and it's I ain't gonna say terrible in the sense of it's fictional, but it's terrible because it's true. So next week, I mentioned this before, but next week we're gonna talk about Apple and the iPhone. So that's gonna be very interesting. Not as interesting this one, I will admit, but interesting nevertheless. So yeah, man, the game is over, and I did my thing as always, man. Y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.